What's up, guys? It's Marshall from Thrylos International, and I'm here today to try a new format of video because I had it in mind for quite a long time now because we do talk a lot about transfers, rumors. It's almost the daily life of an Olympiacos fan. So I came up with an idea that would be why not making a video about what I think that would be good additions for Olympiacos. And the key factor of that is because if we do win the title, the Greek title, I mean, we have almost 95% chances to play Champions League. And I do think it's changed a lot of data. So I came up with a list of 5 players I would recommend as signings. And I choose for the first batch of it to target players with ending contracts. First reason of that is because I'm a massive football manager player. And if anyone has played football manager, sorry, they know that securing ending contracts is a huge part of planification toward a stable club. Also, the players does not cost something in terms of fee. You still have to pay a signing bonus, but it's supposed to be easier. And now we've seen it in the past in this club that we do love free agents, but the issue is that we don't target the best free agents, in my opinion. So, given the fact that I spend quite a lot of time watching football, I try to target players that I know that I have watched playing, and also some of them that could fit the club. First one will be Nicolas Tagliafico from Lyon. Why this guy? Because first of all, he has experience. He might be a little bit older because he's 32, but my idea is to target player between 27, 28 to 33, 34. No, 33, 34, sorry, because what matters is the player not being broken, not being Marcelo, not being James Rodriguez, not being William. I mean someone fit, someone serious, someone that plays in a good league. And Tagliafico ticks all those boxes. He also play in a very specific position, which is the left back, and we have been struggling with this position for quite a lot of time. And I've seen Ortega improving a lot over the past months. And the question we should ask ourselves is, do we cash on Ortega right now and we bring someone to be the starter for Champions League, for example, along to Bruno, because I do believe Bruno is a good player. For me, is a very good solution for backup or small league games. And Tagliafico has a contract ending in June, is free. He has played almost 30 games in Europe this season, including a Europa League run with Lyon that is not ended. They are due to play Manchester United, and I think Lyon have strong chances to win Europa League. And also, he played 4 years at Ajax before, so he has plenty of experience. He knows European football. He knows the intensity. He also has a very strong experience with one of the best national teams, if not the best right now, which is Argentina. And also, he does have something typical of some Argentinian player because Heze, probably not the best example of that, but Tagliafico has the grinta, I know it's stereotypical to speak about that, but he has the grinta and he knows how to play dirty, and I think it fits perfectly what Olympiacos is. It's quite similar to what Ajax is in the Netherlands. It's the best club of the country. We have the best club in Greece, but we are due to play a lot of derbies, especially with the playoff formula. And I think Tagliafico is perfect for that. A part of the level he has is a good defender. He has the basics of the position. He might not be the most offensive left back on the market, but and it's massive. But we need defenders. a left back, a right back is a defender, and that's why I love Costinha because he is someone that knows how to attack, but he defends too. And I think Tagliafico would be perfect because he has a lot of bring to the club, to the team, to the locker room in terms of uh, professionalism, the ways he sees football. Also, his chapter with Lyon has ended, and I think he would be willing to upgrade to Champions League because if we play Champions League next season and we fight to get another title, we play Europe over multiple years. And he is a player that has been playing Europe every year since he joins Ajax. So to me, it's a no-brainer. It's almost on paper the best situation for a left back. And I was expecting Marinakis because he did some business with Textor, Lyon's owner, on the past to get Tagliafico in the winter to save a fee for Lyon on the cheap for us. But I think it's possible on the summer. The second option will be quite different. It's Javi Puado, the left winger of Espanyol Barcelona in La Liga. Why this guy? Do I know this guy? Probably not. But on paper, it looks like the kind of winger that would suit Mendelebar football easily. He has been on a massive season with 10 goals in the club that basically fights for not salvation, but Espanyol is 16th in the league, and the main asset of this club is Javi Puado. His contract is ending, and I think the fact that is 26, and I think it's a perfect age for him to try his luck abroad and to play European football, Champions League, claiming titles. And I think this club hasn't been able to find wingers that come from a big league that isn't an old one. The closest example I can find would be uh, Sergi Canos, because he came from England, and we've seen when he played that those type of wingers can be effective since day one. They they can fit the project easily, and the Greek league that is probably more packed in terms of defense, but also more open when you play for Olympiacos, allows the striker to have chances. And I think Puado, apart of the fact that he speaks the same language as Mendelebar, is a perfect fit. It's not easy to find a winger that suits the profile of Mendelebar's football. That's why probably he craves for someone like Suso. But Spanish football overall has this stamp of quality, like player with high IQ in terms of football, technical abilities. They know how to grind. We probably won't go for another profile like Velde for multiple reasons. So Prado on paper is a very low risk transfer because when you look at the resume of the guy, he has been playing in either Espanyol or Zaragoza for 1 year when he was loaned there. So it's up to him to prove if he gets a chance to play for us. But Champions League in that factor uh, is a massive is a massive argument for Olympiacos to convince those players. And also the fact that he's 26 means that he has room for improvement. And speaking about winger, there is another winger that is worthy of attention, a winger that was almost close to sign for Olympiacos not so long ago, which is Florian Thauvin. Uh, it might not be the most famous French player, but I do know this guy quite well because I'm a Marseille supporter, and I've watched this guy played over and over and over, including for the French national team when he won the title in 2018 in the World Cup. And he decided not to sign with Olympiacos when he came back in Europe from Tigres in Mexico in January 2023 because he wanted to play in a better league. So he picked Udinese. And that was a massive gamble because Udinese is an historical club, but it's not really a big club. Like it said, no, I'm not going to Olympiacos to play Europe and to win titles. I'm going to find back a rhythm and confidence in Udinese. And I think he perfectly uh, managed to do that. Like he almost went back to French national team through that move because he has one major one major thing I would like to see in Olympiacos is a left-footed winger that is able to play on the right side and that can turn inside and shoot with the left foot. Because uh, if you Thauvin is a winger that has multiple abilities. When Mitroglou was playing for OM, Thauvin produced a season with 22 goals in the league, which was almost breaking record for a winger. Why? Because he tries to shoot from the outside of the box. He has a good heading ability, and he can almost play as a striker in terms of positioning, climbing the ball, being there when someone crosses. Is very complete, if I can say that. But also, he has that kind of Robin move, Iron Robin move. In France, it was called the Robin of the poor because it was cutting inside on the left foot, trying to shoot, and 85% of the time it works because even if you know the technique, it's not always easy to stop the wingers scoring from that technique. And I think Thauvin also he is 32, so once again might sound old, but I don't believe it should be a worrying time because he has been playing high intensity football in Italy. He has been known for being serious all his life. And I want to add something that's very important for me. When Bielsa was the coach of Marseille, Thauvin was there already, and he said multiple times that he almost ended the season dead physically because of Bielsa's demands, especially in defense. And he was basically playing like Rodinei plays right now, but it was also almost a right back, a right winger, and an attacker at the same time. He had to cover the entire right side, running from one point to another. So he knows how to follow a coach that has high tactical and physical demands. And this is a major criteria for Olympiacos because why did we lose time at the beginning of the season? Because Willian wasn't fit. Velde uh, wasn't able to sustain what Mendes was asking. And the fact we end the season with Rodinei as the best winger is a perfect example of the kind of winger we need this summer. And that's why Thauvin is for me a good option because I know he has a club option on his contract, and I don't know if it's automatic option or not, but technically it could be out of contract this summer because he said it multiple times that he will evaluate his options this summer because I do believe like deep inside he wants to go to a better club. My fear is that he doesn't want to go to Greece as the league and probably wants to come back to France on a decent club that plays Europe. I don't know, maybe Lens, maybe Rennes, this kind of club. But when you're 32, especially in a French football that is declining financially, you probably want to bet on a player with resale value. And on top of that, the fact that Olympiacos can offer to those players Champions League, the stability Mendilibar created over this year and a half, he has been the coach of the team. The fact that we will fight for the title next season, and Florian Thauvin hasn't won multiple titles in club. He has won the World Cup. He has won the Under 20 World Cup. I think he has won cups too in his past with Tigres, but does it mean something? I don't know. He has only one champion title, which was with Bastia, the French second division, years ago. So it could be a move like Villa, for example. And I think those players have a lot to offer, just like Valbuena. I think Thauvin and Valbuena aren't that different. They have massive reputation in a club. I think Marseille is the club on earth that looks like the most like Olympiacos. So if Thauvin was able to succeed in that pressure, he could easily do it with Olympiacos. And speaking about Marseille, another profile I found interesting also has a club's option to renew is it's Sead Kolasinac from Atalanta. Why am I talking about this guy? You probably know this guy because he played for Arsenal. He also played for Marseille too. And to me, he incarnates the kind of player Olympiacos will need to play in Champions League with Mendelebar, because I haven't tried to recommend players that no one knows, because we know that the scouting department of the club has been developed over the past months. We've seen the signings, we've seen Bruno, we've seen Pirola, we've seen Costinha. Those players, like I'm not reinventing football by proposing those names, but Kolasinac is the definition of solid. I know that you have to be careful with Atalanta's players because they play in a specific tactics with Gasperini, and if you take a player out of Atalanta, most of them will be almost shit because first of all, physically they don't have the same training and they don't have the same level physically, and also tactically the I don't know, the positioning, the links between teammates isn't the same. But Kolasinac, I remember the guy from his time in Marseille when he signed. It was like, oh my god, it's another reject from Arsenal. You know, when they had to expel the era of player like Socrates, high-paid player that weren't playing a lot, like Mustafi too. And he signed with Marseille, and I was like, why? Why do we sign this guy? And when he left on a free to Atalanta, and I was disappointed because you don't find center backs like that on the market very often. And the fact is, Marseille struggled to find someone as reliable as Kolasinac because he's a left-footed center back. He can also play as a left back, in my opinion. If just like Pirola, for example, when you need to defend, when you want to have, I don't know, to give more freedom to the winger, you use a left-footed center back as a left back, and it would be the perfect replacement to me if Carmo leaves. I don't see Kolasinac as Pirola replacement because I do want to see Pirola as a starter. But for Champions League, you need players that have tasted European football, high level of football. And I think Kolasinac has tremendous experience. The resume he has, either with the national team, with his club, the fact he has been playing Champions League this season with Atalanta, all of that tickles multiple bucks. And he's 31. So we know that a center back that is serious physically can reach like 35, 36. And I know it won't be easy to convince someone playing for Atalanta to sign with Olympiacos. I know that. But those are the profile we can attract with a club that works better, with a club that improved. And I think I'm going to say again, the player from 28 to 32 is what we need to monitor not only the youngster the academy produces, but also profiles from 21, 22, 23 years old to 25 years old, because Costinha, Pirola, Solakis, all of those players, they do need someone around to be monitored. And then it also includes like someone like Entoy, for example. When they had someone like Socrates in the club, you knew they could learn something. Even if I'm not a big fan of Socrates, the guy had experience, and it's something I'm waiting for the summer transfer to bring some experience at key positions. We don't need to sign 10 player over 30 years old, but the thing we need to do is trying to improve the experience level in the club, because we've seen that transitioning from Conference League to Europa League was okay because the system of Mendelebar was almost one of the best in Europe, but we probably lacked something to go further and did something apart of injuries, of course, has to be experience. And that's why I'm focusing on players like that. And the last profile I had in mind is someone also that will probably rings a bell to former football manager player. It's Andrej Kramaric, the attacking midfielder of Offenheim, Croatian international with over 100 selections with Croatia. Also one of the, not the best European selection, but given the fact that they have few inhabitants and average league, the performances of Croatia are quite underrated in my opinion. Why do I recommend Kramaric? It's because the guy is versatile. He can play attacking midfielder, center forward, second striker, and he has, in my opinion, what it needs to to bring that experience to the club because he's having a very good season in Bundesliga with 8 goals, 5 assists. So it's a player that knows how to score, knows how to assist, and I do know that we are quite packed offensively. Second striker means Kostulas, means probably Yaremchuk because he's going to be there next season if he keeps playing like that. Means probably Chiquinho, and the question mark is Orta, in my opinion. And sometimes the free agent market means that you have player that looks like more opportunities than needs. Do we really need Kramaric? Probably no, because we do already have a lot of options in there. But those are profiles of players that have played in the big leagues that does not cost a lot, a part of the wage, of course, and the signing bonus. And he also comes from full season with the in Bundesliga. And something that is very important is that what do I like? We probably mocked Yaremchuk when he signed because he wasn't scoring that much. That is true. But what did Yaremchuk proved? He has been playing in the last Euro with Ukraine, that is decent national team. And players like that, I can tell you that they have one of the highest working rate you can find on the market. Why? Because Yaremchuk, he never complained. He kept working. He has he has been fit since day one to the last game of the season, even by playing 5 to 10 minutes when he came in. And with 30 Yaremchuk in the squad, we would have gone way further in Europe and probably won the league way before because the serious this guy has is almost unmatched. And guys like Kramaric that have over 100 selections with Croatia, they do incarnate that. And I'm not going to say Kramaric is the best player on earth. He is not the most shiny one, but you can smell that those guys have what it takes to be good for Olympiacos, and especially the Olympiacos of Mendilibar, because the Mendilibar's Olympiacos is a not working team, a team when you have to grind for everything, in which you don't really rely on individual abilities as much as you were doing in the past, but you rely on a team. You rely on key players being at the peak, like Rodinei, for example. And when you do have the physical, the mental ability to match what Melidiba wants from you, you're going to be a good player for Olympiacos. And I see Kramaric can be one because I was checking his stats not so long ago, and he has more than 300 games with Offenheim and over 100 goals, but 300 games since enjoying almost 10 years ago. So the guy has been a consistent player for Hoffenheim. And even if Hoffenheim isn't one of the biggest German club, they did play in Europe. Like it's the kind of player you do want to play Europa League. And he had one campaign of Champions League, I think, in his entire history. That was in 2018. And the guy scored 5 goals. He scored 5 goals in 6 games. So He has what it takes to be good, in my opinion. And I'm gonna end this video with one dream signing I would like the club to make. I know it's almost impossible because of the profile of the guy, and I also know it's another player that played for Marseille. So you might gonna say watching this, hey Martial, start with your former Marseille's player. We already see we have seen Romao, we have seen Valbuenas. You guys had Mitroglou at Marseille, but the guy I will recommend is Frank Anguissa, the Napoli's midfielder, central and defensive midfielder. And I think uh, it's probably the best option on paper we can find for that position. And what I do like in this player is the ability he has to score. A part of the fact of also that his activity is tremendous in the midfield. Nice passing ability, even if he lost that ball that led to Griezmann's goal in the final of Europa League in 2017. He has the whole package. He has the whole package. It reminds me, uh, I'm sorry if it hurts you saying that, but it reminds me of prime Madi Camara, but way better. You know what I mean? A midfielder that can basically do everything on the pitch, like be there, and there, shooting, having headers, defending, tackling. He can do everything. He's 29. He's probably peaking. He's probably going to have crazy offers, either in terms of money from Saudi Arabia or either from good leagues like clubs from England, France, Germany, because you don't find a lot of players like that on the market. But this is where Olympiacos has a word to say, because as I said before on the video, we are not Real Madrid. We are not playing in the best league ever. If you sign for Olympiacos, you still need to play. You will need to play in Larissa next season. You're gonna need to play in Livadia. You're gonna need to play in Tripoli. No one wants that. When you sign for Olympiacos, no one wants that. But it's the reality. But also at the end of it, you can win a title. You can win European competition. So we are not going to win Champions League next season, but you're gonna play Champions League. And how many clubs on paper can give you nice salary, title possibility, Champions League football as a starter? This is why we need to be ambitious on the market. And it's going to be the conclusion of that video that lasts about half an hour. We will need to be ambitious on the market, and it's not something bad to target player in whose contract are ending. We just need to target the good one, the fit one, the serious one, the one that wants to be there. And I do believe a lot of them wants to be there with Mendilibar. The reality isn't the same now. We need to benefit from that. We need to put the great competition through 2 or 3 levels behind. And it's possible. And I'm gonna do other video if you want to. I have plenty of ideas in my mind about player that could be potential good addition for the club. So the next one probably will be the smart Greek addition for Olympiacos. Until then, see you soon, guys.